Pat Brown, Old Orchard Beach. I find it really interesting, this whole process. I find it extremely interesting that Neil Weinstein continually spews misinformation and is never stopped, never ever stopped. This whole process has been interesting. For me, I've been here for 14 years. I know that's still from away, but I remember when I first moved here. I've been very involved for a long time. I've done a lot of different things, usually kind of quietly, working behind the scenes. But most, I would say that they were positive things that made me feel good about this town. There was one time, there was a moratorium committee, and that was really my first voyage into the town and the town government and looking around. And I was coming out my back door, and I had my pile of folders, and there was a person that was born and raised in this town. And they gave me some of the most valuable advice I ever got, which was, they said, remember why you moved here. Don't change things that made you want to live here. And that was 13 years ago that I heard that. And I've carried that with me forever. Since that time, and I measure every single thing I do against that. Is this changing why I live here? Why I chose to move here? And the things that I've been involved in, I feel, and the actions that I've done, I feel are at the very heart of why I moved here. During this whole process, the interesting part is that, there's things that have happened that I just never could ever conceive. I would never dream could happen. My husband getting a phone call on the job saying that, from a person saying that they're hearing rumors that perhaps I'm on drugs. That's interesting. I don't barely drink adult beverages, and I find it interesting that they have to start doing that kind of thing. People taking pictures through my living room window and posting it on Facebook. That's interesting. I just never expected that. Other people coming to me and telling me that a cataclysmic event is about to rain down on me and that I better speak to my maker. It's just all kinds of things that I just never thought would come from people in this town, but they are. What people are losing sight of is the people that I know, the people on the Recall 4 committee, they're not evil people. They're not bad people. They don't have bad wishes for this town. They have hope for this town. And their hope is that they will have a council that will follow procedure. It is not about Mark Pearson. It is not about him being fired. It is about the procedure that was not followed. If the procedure had been followed and the reasons were given, the preliminary declaration, I can't remember the name of it, but if the procedure had been followed and the decision to fire him was made, there would be no recall, because it's the council's right to fire that way, following procedure. Procedure wasn't followed. There is a recall, and there's a recall for that. If someone as visible as a town manager, if the procedure isn't followed for them, if the rights of that visible person are violated, then who is next and who is safe? And that is the reason for the recall. And I thank you all.